Non-religious people, what is your favorite god and why? Batala. In Tagalog mythology, he created the world then left us to our own devices. The creator has godly crap to do and can't be bothered with us lesser beings. Now that is an all-powerful being I can understand. Where were you, Batala, when underscore happened? Minding my own goddamn business. Minding my own me damned business. FTFY. Only kind of God that holds up to scrutiny laughing out loud. They are logical people. Anoia, goddess of volcanoes and things stuck in drawers. I prefer Tak. He does not require us to think of him, he only requires us to think. Tak. Allah, Kandalach, me him and too. She's mine as well and I pray to her when the detergent drawer on my washing machine gets stuck. Yes, I was hoping that something from Discworld would show up. Though I read Small Gods again recently so I'm feeling pretty favorable towards one of my favorite Discworld books. I love the way faith and gods work in Discworld. Reformed though. Not old Old doesn't care. Of course, there's tons of other great choices. I'm forgetting his name at the moment but the O God of Hangovers is another prime choice. O God of Hangovers. Bilious, created when someone tried to murder the Hogfather, Santa Claus. Was scrolling for this one. GNU Sir Terry. GNU Terry Pratchett. The O God of Hangovers is one of my faiths. Dionysus, God of Wine and Good Times. Tell that to King Pentheus or Orpheus. Got shown a real good time by the Maenads, didn't they? Exactly. Dionysus was not just a party guy that you'd expect at Eurovision. He could give life, make milk come up from the earth, make the trees leak honey. But he could be equally destructive and ruthless when he wasn't obeyed, when his power was in doubt. Indeed, Pentheus experienced this to the fullest extent. He is much more complex with his theme of birth, death and rebirth than people make him out to be and I feel like it kind of does the old stories a disservice. Welcome to the cult of Dionysus. That song is such a effing bop. I'm feeling devious, you're looking glamorous. Let's get mischievous and polyamorous tilde. Wine and woman and wonderful vices. Yes, but all the deep meanings behind just partying and drinking hard. He also is a god of the seasonal cycle, a cycle of expansive fun and drink alternating with restraint and sadness, for the vine has to be cut short in order to produce grape the next year. Don't forget dismemberment. He loved having people ripped apart by hand. Mainly rich corrupt people ripped apart by poor oppressed people. He was extremely popular with poor and oppressed people. Odin. He sacrificed an eye, and hung on a tree to gain knowledge. He has pet ravens that bring him news, a spear that never misses, and an 8-legged horse. Also helps Harry Dresden. Honorable mention, Tyr sacrificed his hand to bind Fenrir, is Thor's contemporary / brother, potentially, depends on the source, he could also be the son of the Jotun, giant, Hymir, edit, thank you for all the awards, smiley face, smiley face. Finally, someone mentions Odin. Also, upvote for Dresden reference. Trying to recall, since it's been a while since I read up on my Norse, but isn't Odin's 8-legged horse, I want to say. Sleipnir? Technically Loki's child? One of 3? And wasn't Tyr giving his hand the only way Fenrir would submit to the latest attempt to bind him? Tyr showing that he was willing to run that risk to convince Fenrir, as he was the only Aesir that the big puppy would actually trust, given that everyone else treated him like a monster, but Tyr actually showed a level of caring? You are correct on both of those things. Sleipnir is Loki's child and Tyr indeed sacrificed his hand to help bind Fenrir. Cheers, man. Been a long time since I checked up on my Norse mythology, but I always loved that part of Tyr and Fenrir's story. Betrayal coming from a friend who wanted the best for everyone, didn't want anyone to die, but was so disillusioned by the plan that he volunteered to be the sacrifice. Eris, aka Discordia. She's the Greek goddess of chaos and discord. When Zeus threw a raging party but didn't invite Eris, she showed up anyway. She threw a solid gold apple, with the words "to the prettiest" inscribed on it, into the room, and 3 Greek goddesses started catfighting over it. And in the process, she inadvertently started the Trojan War. She might be my favorite too. So somehow, throwing a golden apple led to a bunch of men inside her horse? The apple was inscribed to the most beautiful. Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite all fight over it. They give it to a mortal, Paris, to decide who deserves it. Paris gives it to Aphrodite, who gives him whatever he wants. Paris wants Helen of Troy, who is already married. His wish is granted. That then starts the Trojan War. Aphrodite promises him the most beautiful woman in the world. Hera promises to make him a powerful ruler of all of Asia Minor. And Athena promises to make him a powerful and wise general to win every battle he is in. Paris, being a horn dog, goes with Aphrodite. Poor choice. If he chose powerful ruler, then he could pick out a woman who was close enough to the most beautiful woman himself. Fun fact, he already had a wife/lover, a mountain nymph named Oenone. They also had a son together, Corythus. So choosing Aphrodite's gift was an incredibly crafty move. Paris comes crawling back to Oenone in the end, mortally wounded, and begs her to heal him. She lets him die, and then commits suicide. See, that's why Greek myths are so hard to relate to. People don't act like that at all. Spends 5 minutes browsing r/relationships. Never mind. I stand corrected. People are still just as crafty today as they were back then. Reddit link. Wisdom would have been better. Rulers get assassinated or overthrown in those stories a lot. With wisdom, he would have been wise enough to pick a good match, not start unnecessary wars, and win them when he needed to fight them. Not to mention, if he's a powerful and wise general who wins every battle, he should have no problem becoming a powerful and wise ruler of all of Asia Minor. And have some sexy times with some of the most beautiful women in Asia Minor, no doubt. Truly, Athena was the way to go, and Paris has chosen poorly. Yeah. But I find it strange that a goddess of wisdom would be so childish as to participate in a beauty contest. He would make either Hera or Aphrodite mad either way. Which is a direct way to hell in most Greek myths. But when you caught the horny, wisdom usually goes out the window. So I can see why he went with Aphrodite. He chose poorly. Oh, I see, so that's why Genie had that rule about not making anyone fall in love. If you know a beautiful woman, giving her an apple will help you get inside her. Eris is the original Maleficent, except way smarter, because while she definitely made them regret not inviting her to the party, she also kept her hands clean enough that she never got stabbed over it. This is probably my answer. I even named my cat after her. For a second I thought you meant you named your cat Discord. Loved her in Billy and Mandy. Prometheus was a good dude. He was a true bro, only one who cared about us little people. There's a version of his myth that says Zeus was so displeased with his stealing fire and leaving false offerings that he created women in order to punish men, since punishing Prometheus didn't seem to work. PFFT, Zeus created women just so he could have sex with them, let's be honest here. Zeus loves to have sex with everything, let's not be humanist here. Didn't like how Percy Jackson portrayed Prometheus as a cowardly weasel. I thought he was awesome since he helped out humans. I hate Zeus more, selfish bastard, wanting all the offerings and torturing Prometheus in a very gruesome way for all of eternity just because he made some human offerings go to him. Anubis, he seems cool. Most of the death-related gods do, it seems. Something about being connected to mortality gives them chill, humility, and a respect for humans that other gods seem to mostly lack. Non-Disney Hades and Persephone are probably the most functional couple in Western mythology. Disney kept some of the main plot points, but otherwise completely flipped everyone's personality. The beginning with Zeus and Hera as doting saps is my favorite. That said, great film. James Woods just slays it as Pseudo Hades. Any director that doesn't make Zeus look like unstoppable manslut willing to rape anything with a pulse is doing Greek mythology a disfavor. Interesting tidbits: his first wife was the Titan Medes. Out of fear she would produce a son stronger than him, he ate her, not knowing she was pregnant. Their unborn child later emerged from his forehead as Athena. His second wife, Hera, also is his sister. She is the goddess of women, marriage, and childbirth, except for that whole birthing through the forehead thing. She accidentally married him because he disguised himself as a cuckoo bird, as she had no interest in the real Zeus. Regardless, as goddess of marriage, she took the monogamy of their marriage rather personal. In the story of Europa, he transformed into a bull to rape her. He then kidnapped her when her family got unhappy with it. He was also the keeper of oaths, punishing liars and dishonest businessmen. But cheaters and rapists apparently wasn't a problem. The man was a rampaging furry rapist, but hey, giants gave him lightning bolts as weapons, so he the boss. God of War out here portraying him for the butthole he is. Kratos, the ancient world's most determined atheist. Yeah, my favorite portrayal of Hades is from the Chicago detective noir/high fantasy wizard combo Dresden Files. He's one of two still existing pantheon gods, the other being Odin, that seem to be functional and have any interaction with humanity. I like Hestia because she seems nice. Hestia, being goddess of the hearth, I think? Seems like she would give the best hugs after a hard day. Warm and comforting, like a blanket and hot chocolate in front of a warm fire on a snowy winter's evening. I feel like this needs to be canon. Edit. A fellow Redditor pointed out that canon is not in fact canon. Yeah, she's so chill. The only myths about her are where nothing happened because Hestia ain't about that drama. Hestia is bestia. Username checks out. Freya, of Norse mythology. She was in charge of love, fertility, battle, and death. She could be badass and feminine all at the same time. Also, she had a chariot pulled by cats. You've got to respect anyone who can get cats to behave like that. I also like to imagine that when beloved pets cross the rainbow bridge that it's Freya's fields they arrive in. Not going to lie, first thing I thought was Lady Wagon. I mean, she a goddess of death, love, battle and fertility. She can name her stuff whatever the F she wants and nobody going to give her crap laughing out loud. Also, little known fact, she basically splits the honorable dead 50-50 with Odin. Half of them get taken by the Valkyries to Valhalla, the other half go to her realm, Folkvanger, which just means field of people, where she rides around and watches them fight and crap. This is where things start to get murky with Freya though, right? Because in some versions, she takes half as Queen of the Vanir, and as Odin's wife, as they were married to enact the peace treaty between the Vanir and the Aesir. But in other versions, Frigg is Odin's wife, and entirely separate from Freya. The real problem is we don't have original sources for the beliefs of the Viking peoples. I believe every contemporary work we have is a retelling by Christian scholars. Which leads to interesting problems, like Frigg and Freya being the same person in some versions, and very different people in other versions. People speculate that the Vanir/Aesir war was an allegory for a warrior god or sky god based religion subsuming a fertility or earth god based religion, but whether a third religion or more got brought in, muddying the waters still further, we just don't know. We don't even know if these figures were worshipped or if they were akin to heroes rather than gods, or even just fairy stories for kids. There is Gladsheim, and golden bright there stands Valhall stretching wide. There does Odin each day choose all those who fell in fight. There is Folkvanger, where Freya decrees who shall have seats in the hall. Half of the dead each day does she choose. The other half does Odin have. I named my cat after her. At the time, I didn't know about the chariot pulled by cars. She was a gal way ahead of her time. I love Egyptian mythology and cats, so Bastet is an obvious choice. I also really like how, according to their mythology, the goddess Isis invented mummification in order to reunite her brother/husband's body, Osiris. I like Sekhmet, the war goddess lioness who went on a bloodthirsty rampage across Egypt and didn't stop until the people tricked her into getting drunk and transforming into Hathor, the beauty goddess cow. Went on a bloodthirsty rampage until, tricked, into getting drunk and transforming into, the beauty goddess cow. Sounds like a regular Saturday night to me. What puny mortal says my name? Bog off, wooden dick, set, probably. Ha ha, you ate my jizz. Horus, probably. Hermes. So I accidentally found myself worshipping Hermes because it became a habit. I'd see a pile of stones on a trail and add one to it. If I recall correctly, the name Hermes actually comes from Hermes, the pile of stones marking trails and borders, which is why Hermes is the god of trails, borders, commerce, and travelers. So I started adding a stone to them, and I'd say keep me safe Hermes as passing comment, and after months of doing it, a ritual. It's been going so long now that I have a small statue of him with train tickets from the subways I've been to, and I call my car my caduceus. He also has a massive dong, and I can relate. The Irish triple goddess, Brigid. Back when I was Catholic, I was confirmed using Saint Brigid's name. The goddess was actually Christianized from the old religion. I love religious syncretism. Brigid's staying power in spite of other religions is pretty amazing. Not only was she a Celtic goddess who survived Christianization, but one of her pagan temples became a Catholic holy site and has had continuous worship of her since pagan times. Then she was canonized as a saint and was retroactively declared to have somehow been a midwife and helped deliver Jesus. Not only that, but even more amazingly, Saint Brigid somehow made her way to Africa and again became a pagan goddess in the form of a Loa in Haitian and African voodoo named Maman Brigitte, who is still worshipped to this day. You make me want to read more about her. Thanks. I love that she had to be the midwife of Mary. You're better than a film strip. I was going to say Morrigan or Brigid, too. Really any of the Tuatha De Danann, plus, other gods are dope. Celtic pantheon has some really cool deities. Tezcatlipoca, aka the Smoking Mirror. The Aztec god of night and sorcery, as well as the patron deity of Aztec kings and young warriors. Totally agree. Tezcatlipoca is amazing. I also like Huecoyote. Quetzalcoatl. He gets a high spot on the god list for me because he's a dope snaky boy and inspired Rayquaza, my favorite Pokémon. The Navajo Spider-Woman. Universe had to come from somewhere. Giant spider weaving it into existence makes more sense than a lot of the other origin stories. Possibly the origin of Madam Web from Spider-Man. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.